Hello, everybody. This is Chris Rupp, music producer extraordinaire. I just released the music video for What a Wonderful World with my band Seventh Ave. It was a 4-part a cappella number. And I'm going to take a few minutes here to break down the arrangement itself a little bit. For those that know music theory, this will be good, but I'll try to keep it a little bit broad for layman's terms. But yeah, let's jump right in. So right here, I'm using my program called Cakewalk. I've been using this for some 27 years. A lot of people use Pro Tools or Logic, that sort of thing, but this has been great for me, so that's what I use. Right here I have the melody line, the words for the soprano here. My actual sheet music has it all filled out, but just in this program I didn't finish it, but it's enough for the reference. So, alright, so starting, What a Wonderful World has 3 main verses and then a little B kind of bridge section. And so each one of them has a little approach I want to take on this. So doing any kind of arrangement, you're always thinking, how can I stay true to the song by also putting some ear candy in there, some surprises, some twists and turns that you maybe weren't expecting, while still staying true to the song. So hopefully we achieved that. So I decided at the very beginning of this intro, I see trees, and so we start in unison on the word I, right here, C, 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 C. We're in F, by the way. And then we split alto, soprano, and then tenor. Bass is already splitting right here. We have a little C7 chord, and then we go into our trees with the tenor out, because I wanted to have a little answer there. So it sounds like this. I see trees of green. You hear that tenor come in there. And we're going to the basic chord structure of the song. This is how we get there. So normal chords are going to be our F, and then our A minor 7, and then a B flat chord, and then back to A minor 7. Or G minor 7 in there. I mean, I don't want to go into the weeds too much on the chord structures. If you want to geek out about that, you can see that here in the arrangement. But let's continue on here to what I did. Oh, so we had this F chord, and then we have the A minor 7 chord, and then we have our G minor 7, back to our F7. And then we're here, we have the 4 chord, which is the B flat chord. I wanted to keep the melody here on the B flat, but rather than filling out the chord underneath with the normal chord structure, I put the major 7 chord underneath, or D minor. It gives a nice little clashy thing while still staying true to the harmony. Nice little bass walk down there. All the parts are answering. Okay, a little answer here with the inner parts. Minor. Okay, so now we're at the second verse. And for the second verse, got to do something different, right? I kind of had it chorally in the first verse. The parts are kind of all moving together. But in this one, I am doing kind of a bell chord, bell tones underneath. Now the tricky thing here, usually a traditional bell chord would be doom, 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 starting on the 1, but I have here answering. So I had to have Jamie, our soprano, make sure her line was pretty lined up with the beat. She likes the back phrase, meaning she kind of puts her notes behind a little bit. But for this I said, no, I need you right on top so that you land on the 1 so that these bells make sense. Otherwise it's going to get real messy real quick with the bass coming in a little bit later. Here's what it sounds like. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright pleasant day, the dark sacred night, and I think kind of fun thing there in the bass. Dark sacred night. We have a suspension resolution there. Normally you wouldn't have the bass line do that. You'd have a middle part do the suspension resolution, but that's what I have it down here. It's kind of interesting. And it works out well because on the bass line it's a nice moving part to this note. Dark sacred night. Dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful. Another middle part answers. Okay, so here now for the bridgy section, wasn't sure where I wanted to go first. I kind of wanted to pass the lead around to change it up, and it ended up just being me singing on that kind of bass baritone line versus splitting it around. It just worked out better that way. And we have all kinds of clashy chords here. So the chord is going to be a G minor 7-ish, but I immediately want to dig into the clash. You know, the tenors here are on an A, altos are on a B flat, and a D. So there's our nice the 9 rubbing against the minor third there. Tenor's little answer line here. Then we go here to this chord. We are back to an F chord, but again, got to put some color notes on there. So we have F and E. So alto and soprano are rubbing right against each other with the C, and the melody down here is the third of the chord in the A. It continues on for the soprano line comes in that in the sky, and that is. Then there's our 9 again. There's the A. Tenor's on the B flat. So they had this line together in thirds in the sky, but when they land together, they are clashy. It's really kind of neat. So let's listen to this.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by.
Nice little standard 9 chord there. I'm going to isolate that a little bit so you can hear it more. Let me mute my part. Now you just hear the background parts. Here we go. Or not.
Colors of the rainbow in the sky.
Nice. Cool. All right, so now we go into our finishing the bridge, the second half of the bridge. Go back to the melody with Jamie and the soprano. And here again, I wanted to have something a little different. It just bounces between 2 chords. Friend shaking hands, saying, how do you do? So to give it some movement, I decided to have my bass line walk up. Friend shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They really say. Okay, and so then I have to make sure our parts up here are on their own notes as well. So it wouldn't be a traditional 3-part arrangement up here. So everyone also knows, so all the notes are covered. It sounds like this.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do?
Lots of color notes in there.
They're really saying, I love you.
Okay, so outside of this one little funky chord here, which is a nice kind of crunchy transition chord to here, on the I love you, I wanted to keep this super clean and simple. It's just a regular 5/7 chord, C, B flat, G, and E with the E in the bass of first inversion. Because coming up, we're going to have some wildness, so I didn't want to have anything too crazy here.
They're really saying, I love you.
Third verse.
Babies cry.
And then we get wild. So I was watching a video once that Jacob Collier had done, and if you don't know who he is, he's just an absolute savant in musicality and just everything, you know, a Bach and Beethoven of our times. But he was talking about something that he likes to look at when arranging a song is reharmonizing off of the melody line. So normally I hear babies cry would be F chord to A minor 7. But we can take this C and we can say to ourselves, okay, what other chords have a C in them? And so I went with A flat, which is A flat, C, E flat. And then I put the major 7 on there to kind of connect the keys a little bit more. Which is kind of, woo, wild. But once you get used to it, it sounds really cool. But then I don't want to stay there too long because we're not changing keys. We want to come back to our home base. So it goes back to this one a little more normal-ish, and then we go back to A flat, transitioning to there a little much more, which is our back to our home base G flat, or G minor 7 chord. Listening here.
Babies cry, I so cry, there much more.
Okay, so we get to They'll. That's our Dylan Where's More, that's our check-in again, like I said. That brings it back to home base, but then we immediately go wild again. So this whole phrase is going to this. I'll never know. That's where we're landing. Okay, so this is our D minor chord. So we can kind of keep backing it up to get there. We have the D minor, we have the A7 chord, which is already kind of in the key. But then to get to the A7, we're doing an E diminished. So we keep going circle of fifths backwards to get to that. Then we also have this B diminished chord setting up this one. So we, as like I said, circle of fifths going backwards and backwards and backwards to get there, with some nice chromatic movement in between and suspension and stuff. More depth we need to go, but this is what's happening. It's really cool to hear it get to this point.
More than much more than I'll ever know.
See how it landed?
I think to myself, what a
Now we're heading to the big ending. Chromatic, yes, live there.
Yes, I think
Now we're taking to the end. Kind of fun choice. We only have 4 parts here, so some of the challenges come in putting in color notes when you only have 4 notes to begin with. So right here, I have a C, B flat, C sharp, which is actually D flat, and F. So with our chord, a chord itself is C, F is our third, which is suspended, it's in the 4. And then we have our B flat, there's our normalness. And then we have the flat 9 to give that nice, real crunchy coolness. I notice we're missing the G, because if you want to pull a note out, the 5th, the G is the one to pull out. We don't need that, it just is there, it doesn't affect the harmony at all, so that's the one you cut out when you've got something extra. So that gives us down to 4, and then we're just finishing the song out with a nice little chromatic walk down to the bass line.
To myself, what a wonderful world.
Little answer here, answer here. Every part's doing its own thing. And we end on an F major 7. So we got F, we got A, we got C, and we got an E in the melody line. Yeah. Okay, cool. A little breakdown for What a Wonderful World. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.